lovely little learners. Hope you're all doing fine and dandy today. Today's lesson is Marvellous Metaphors. As always, we're going to start with today's word of the day to keep expanding our vocabulary. Today's word of the day is exquisite. Ooh, fancy. The word exquisite means something that is beautiful and delicate. No, I couldn't help but admire the exquisite workmanship of the carpentry. That's wood to you and me. And, as always, we're going to have a wee spelling word today. Tomorrow's lesson is going to be all about approaches to spelling. So looking at different ways that you can spell, the importance of spelling, how to try and remember spelling words, and a couple of tips like that. Today's spelling word is business. It looks a bit like bussiness, but it is business. And I know you love them. I know you don't. Pun of the day. Why did the banana go to the doctor? He wasn't peeling well. What is a metaphor, I hear you shout? So, first task, I'd like you to unscramble the words on the screen. These words are a definition of what a metaphor is, so you've got 1 minute to either write it down or work it out from the screen. If you jumble those words around, what is a metaphor? Alexa, play. Alexa, pause. Thank you, chickadee. How did you get on? Did you manage to work it out? A metaphor is a way of comparing two things. Well done if you got it right. Thumbs up. So, a metaphor is a writing technique that's also known as imagery. The further up you go through school, you'll get more and more familiar with that term. Or we also call it a figure of speech, which you hopefully have come across already, and this is just a little revision exercise today. So why do we bother using metaphors? Why don't we just say what we mean what we say? So metaphors are a way of writers to make their writing more engaging, more interesting, because they bring things to life, the words on the page. Apart from when you're small and you have picture books, we don't have those as we get older, unfortunately, not so many drawings. So writers use things like metaphors to get you to picture things in your mind. So it's just a way of emphasising an idea and to bring it to life. Because you visualise it, that's where the word imagery comes from. Imagery, because there's an image there. So that's where that word originates. So a definition of a metaphor is basically you compare two things by saying that one thing is the other. And they're used in both literature and in real life as well. In real life, we often use the terms literal and metaphorical, or you would say literally speaking or metaphorically speaking. Sometimes you would say figuratively as well, figurative language. That basically means the same. So, what does it mean if something's literal? If it's literal, it means does what it says on the tin if you like that expression. So something has actually happened, right? So it's true. For example, I broke my mug. I would hate that. Actually, it happened to me the other day. I was mugged. Sorry. Unlike literally, metaphorically. So a metaphorically speaking, something that doesn't actually happen, right? So I didn't break a mug, for example. That's literally, it did happen. It's just there to suggest something. So it's to get you to come up with an idea in your mind or a connotation. That's what that sort of means. A connotation is, what do we associate with a particular thing? So if I said the colour yellow, what does it spring to mind? So things like happiness and sunshine and positivity, that sort of thing. That's a connotation. So there's a meaning beyond the surface. So it's not just black and white. You have to look further into it, look deeply into something. So a wee example, unlike broke my mug, which did happen, he broke my heart. Obviously, that didn't actually break my heart. I didn't feel my heart going shatter, shatter, shatter all over the floor. So it's just an expression, something that we say to suggest that we are so deeply hurt that our heart has gone into disrepair. And we'll never get over that tragedy till the next one comes along. Right, another one is glued to our seats. So you might have heard that in real life. So these are the sorts of things that you may have already heard of. So if you're literally glued to your seat, oh, ah, oh, you've sat down and some numpty has put super glue on the seat thinking it's funny. It's no. So your buttocks are on the seat and you can't get up, right? However, we say that metaphorically. We don't really mean that we were glued to the seat, because that is a criminal offence. Don't do it, kids. Metaphorically, if you're glued to your seat, that would be that you find whatever you're watching, the game, the programme, the film, so engaging and so hypnotising that nothing will stop you watching it. But like you just now. But you're all glued to me. Not be forced by my mum. That's fine. Right, another expression we use a lot is life on the edge. So literally, if your life's on the edge, that would be the poor dude at the edge of a cliff, right? He's maybe looking for his dog. So you're physically on the edge, about to fall. That's what that would be. Metaphorically, to live life on the edge. Rock on! That would be that you're always doing something really adventurous and exciting and drama filled. So you're like living life to the max. That's what that expression means. Bit like myself when I'm sitting at home in my bathies doing a jigsaw. On the edge. That's how I live. So, can you identify this metaphor? I'm sure you've all heard this before. Shout it at me. That is correct. Time flies. We sometimes say time flies when we're having fun, just like you are today. Hopefully. Another wee one. What's that? Got it? I can't hear you. That's it. It's raining cats and dogs. Alright? So going back to this. What does it mean, time flies? So obviously you're saying that time is flying. So there's two things going on there. So that suggests that it is really, really racing, you know. So just like when you're in English class, time will fly because you're so enjoying the lesson. However, raining cats and dogs, any idea what that might mean? Happens a lot in Scotland, doesn't it? So it's just that the rain is so heavy and non-stop and it hurts when it hits us that it could almost be like there's things literally falling on our heads. So that's what that suggests. What about this one? I can relate to this. You know, week 9 of lockdown. Have we become a nation of couch potatoes? Not if you're doing Mr. Joe X. Ooh. But, so what's being compared? Obviously a person to a potato. What does it have in common? Shape, laziness. I'm just going to sit here and vegetate while I watch Netflix for 9 hours or play my game until my thumbs bleed. Alright, so just a quick revision. A metaphor is a comparison of two things which sometimes they may not be related, and they're used to get you to picture something in your mind. How to work out what a metaphor means, or why is it being used then? So if you looked at this one, Jack was a cheetah in the race. Firstly, what two things are being compared? So that's a starting point. When you see a metaphor, just try and ask yourself, what is compared to what? Right, so remember, that is that. So in this instance, Jack is being compared to a cheetah. Why? Why is that effective? So the next step is, why has the writer put those two things together? What do they have in common? Or perhaps not. Maybe a little bit sarcastic if you said Jack was a tortoise in the race. What would that suggest about him? So in this case, because Jack is a cheetah is the world's fastest land animal. So by comparing Jack to the cheetah, the writer is basically just emphasising how fast Jack is. So you visualise in your head, whoa, look at him go, because you're picturing a boy that looks like a cheetah, that is a cheetah, and he's flying through the race, right? Going to beat everybody hands down. So a little task, just to make sure you're still awake, wakey wakey, is there are 4 sentences on the board, and I'd like you to, firstly, 2 steps to this task, what 2 things are being compared in each sentence? So just write it down or shout it out at the screen. And then secondly, once you've worked out what 2 things are compared, why? So think, what do those 2 things have in common? Why has the writer put those 2 together? Alright, 2 minutes for this one. Alexa, play. Alexa, pause. Thank you, my little chicken. How did you get on? Hopefully you've been finding that okay. Right, so going over the answers. So the 2 things in each one. The snow, that's the first thing, was a white blanket on the ground. What does that suggest? Obviously blankets cover a lot of things, a lot of area. So just to emphasise how much snow there was, Max was a clown in the classroom, so imagine a clown in a circus, how they behave. So Max is obviously not doing what he's told. And you should always behave yourself in class, remember. You're there to learn, not have a carry on. Third, the moon is a giant light bulb. So the two things being compared is a moon, a light bulb. What do they have in common? So you might have said in terms of shape or brightness, so that they stand out or have light radiating off them, anything like that. And lastly, Amber's bedroom is a pigsty. So obviously bedroom is compared to a pigsty to suggest that Amber needs some cleaning tips. Alright, that's pretty much how my house looks after a few weeks of lockdown with 3 kids, but never mind, we try. So well done if you spotted all of those. And the final one is Ginas Most is one huge metal factory. Ouch. So what does that suggest? What two things are being compared? Ginas Most and a metal factory. So poor Jenna has got the braces in, and that's obviously what that comparison's there for. And the last one, life is one long scary roller coaster. Good lesson. What does that imply? Roller coasters do a bit of this, don't they? Woo-hoo! So life has got its ups and its downs, and its ups and its downs, and its whoa, whoa. Yes, get the idea. Life is a roller coaster, you just gotta ride it. I was just thinking what songs have metaphors in them. Katy Perry seems to like a song, You're Gonna Hear Me Roar. I don't think she means literally, unless that's how she goes on a date. Rah! Don't know what impression that would make. Cuckoo. Secondly, baby, you're a firework. Again, I don't imagine anybody's got sprinklers hanging out their parts. So I would imagine that that is a metaphor. So that's what we mean. Metaphorically speaking, you're a firework. So you're like, woohoo! Full of life. Alright? Hopefully you now know what a metaphor is. Tomorrow's lesson, as I've said, is approaches to spelling. The usual rigmarole. Please remember to join my Aim Higher Facebook page. You can ask to join the resources, and I'll be uploading some more work on metaphors in the next day or two. And please subscribe to my Aim Higher Aim YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. I would love it if you did. Ooh, love heart-ish. And if you're not on Facebook, there's the links to the Google Classroom where you'll get the resources as well. And lastly, as you know, these are being done with my goodness of my heart. But if you're enjoying it, chuck me a couple of quid for a cup of tea to keep me going. I am up very late doing these. I know. I am up very late anyway, to be fair. So at least I've got something positive and productive to do rather than staying at social media. It's probably what you're doing right now, eh? Anyway, have a fab day, everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye, my lovely learners. Alexa,